Welcome to the Business Over Beer Happy Hour, a daily dose of support for business owners, entrepreneurs, and people passionate about what they do. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Knope, it's time to grab a beer, enjoy some cheer, and join together.
We are live, it looks like.
We are live. Hey, everybody. Hey, look. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. It feels like a Wednesday. Right, Jonathan?
I don't feel Wednesday. I feel Mondays, but I don't. Wednesday doesn't have a feel, Ben.
You know what I do feel, though? I feel happy because I am live on Facebook, and it's the Business Over Beer Happy Hour, and I'm staring at some good-looking dudes, but there's only one I want to talk to right now, and that is Mr. Respect the Hair, Mr. Spartacus, Mr. the Space Cowboy.
Some people call me that, you know.
So am I incorrect in saying the Sapsy Cow? It's not the Sapsy Cowboy?
No, that was a limited time offer.
Sassy Cowboy.
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing, man?
What's going on, Ben? I am so glad it's happy hour. I'm terribly thirsty. I can't wait to meet our guest and find out what he does and then get to the drinking because it's been that kind of day and that kind of week.
I'll keep it short. Right to the drinking.
My kind of guy right there. I started having my son call me Jonathan today because, you know, when you were in college and you always had that cool professor, and he's like, hey, no, don't call me Mr. Frangelico. That's my dad. You know, call me Jeff. You know, and then you see Jeff on campus at the Union, and you had coffee with him on the campus coffee shop. So I told my son, hey, don't call me Dad anymore. No. Call me Jonathan, because I want to be the cool teacher. Hey, speaking of cool teachers, we got Mr. Respect the Head is with us. He is the gangster of Hazeldale, the gift that keeps on giving. Mr. Jason Knope, how you feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm feeling pretty good, and I now realize I need to start telling my girls to call me the gangsta.
Oh, I think they should. I would love that.
Yes, please do. That would be awesome.
I think that is a fantastic idea.
I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to see what they say. They'll probably say, "Get out of here, Dad."
Well, before I want to point out the question ahead of time because it seems like people don't answer the question. This is so weird. So the question of the day, the riddle of the day, to get a $10 gift card to Fortside. Today's question is a riddle. Why can't a pirate finish the alphabet? And the first one to get it right gets the gift card.
And all you got to do is put the answer in the chat.
That's it.
And you know what? If you're listening to this after the fact, even if you're listening to it on a podcast channel, you know what? Just send us the answer via email. You can go to team@bizoverbeer.com, or you could go to our Facebook page and just send us the answer right on our page. Go to this video and put it in the comments, whatever you want to do.
All of it.
And don't feel like, hey, we probably already gave it away. Hey, Ben has 1,000 of those. So put the answer in. You might win a gift card. Why can't a pirate finish the alphabet? I don't know the answer to that one. Beer.
Okay.
That's my standard answer. Beer. That's usually why I can't finish the alphabet.
Hey, Knope, do we have a guest today?
We do. We have Kaleb Schad on with us today. I said that right?
Oh, hello. You did. Yeah. Kaleb Schad. Yep.
Yep.
A lot of people try to say Shad, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah, but that's not right. That'd be bad. So.
All right.
Awesome.
What's up?
Hey, man,
Thanks for the invite.
Welcome to Happy Hour. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks. This is exciting. Yeah. I'm always looking for a reason to drink beer. So
yeah, us too. So you are definitely our kind of guy. I will double down
this worked
on
out
that.
well. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, this is Business Over Beer, so we like to start by getting into your business just a little bit. So why don't you give us the 50,000-foot view of your business, kind of what you're into?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great. So I'm a creative director at a branding and advertising agency. Been with them. It's called Imaginasium. Imagination, gymnasium, smash it together, right? I've been with them for about 10 years.
That could only come from a branding firm, man.
Yeah, I did not name the company. I inherited it. I've been with them for a while. I'm leadership team there and just helping, trying to figure out how we navigate this whole new world we're living in the last, 6-8 weeks or whatever. But I also do a lot of branding and graphic design, evening kind of stuff for some local, really small businesses, some breweries, and just little guys that can't afford the big agency stuff, right? And usually passion projects, stuff that I'm really interested in. And then on the side, I also, speaking of passion projects, I write and illustrate my own fantasy and science fiction novels. So I publish some of those through Amazon, through some online, Barnes & Noble, some other online marketplaces. So
very cool.
Been doing that for a couple of years. So yeah, I'm really into the messaging and the creativity and the, on the side, I just love the whole illustration and writing kind of stuff. So that works out well. And you'll see that in some of my own graphic design and some of the work I do for smaller companies. So that's me. That's it. Live up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and wife, 2 kids, all that kind of fun stuff.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
And former Kiel High School alum.
Well, right. I mean, that's where like all the cool people come from. So I'm surprised that these other gentlemen didn't graduate from Kiel.
Honorary diplomas.
Yeah, in spirit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I want to get into what you're doing in the scene, especially the beer scene out in Green Bay. But Jonathan, before we do that, I can't wait any longer because my beer is really cool and I got to get into it.
Get after it.
I am thirsty.
Me
So
too, bro.
I went to our friends at Ben's Bottle Shop.
Oh no.
I did.
You got
The haze of our lives from Old Town.
Wait.
like the sands through the hourglass, so are the haze of our lives.
Oh.
How is it? Is that something different that you're finishing
Yeah,
up?
I had to finish this one up.
Of course, Old Town Brewing, our good friend Joe Sanders, the director of sales there, he was on our program episodes 9 and 10. He was such a great guest. He had such a great story to tell. You should go check out that wonderful 2-part episode.
It's so good. Yeah. Oh,
Look at that beer. That is exactly what you want from a hazy. That's beautiful.
what are you drinking, homie?
So I have my new favorite kind of house beer. I am drinking the Mosaic Pale from Backwoods Brewing. I love pale ales, especially pale ales that are not afraid to be like real beers. This is probably a borderline IPA because it's bitter as hell. It's real piney, but it's got a ton of body and a ton of character and lots of flavor. But it's only like 5.5%. No, not even. Look at that. Yeah, 4.7% ABV. Ooh. So drink them all night, and but lots of flavor, lots of body. I love this beer.
I love Backwoods.
Yeah.
Great brewery. Canope, let me guess what you're drinking.
You gonna guess?
Is it Ghost Runner?
It is Ghost Runner.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'll switch it up soon.
All right. Caleb, you got some special beer too.
I do.
Green Bay.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Green Bay has, I think all of America does. I think Seattle and Washington State definitely has some really awesome microbrews. And I work for one of them. It's these guys, Copper State Brewery. Ooh. So I'm drinking their chocolate coffee peanut butter porter nitro right now.
Wow.
But just in case this went like all night long or, like another 10 minutes, I have Stilt Stepper IPA, which is a hazy IPA that I love of theirs too. So yeah.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
It's good to be prepared.
Well,
happy hour, gentlemen.
Happy.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Prost. Oh,
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Then you look happy.
I'm very happy. I'm
look
so
a little
happy.
less thirsty.
Oh, dude. Um, it's a great hazy, but it doesn't. This is the second one, right? It is episode 2. This is the perfect secret. This one, it doesn't have the back end bitter.
Okay.
It's really like just refreshing and dangerous. Yeah.
How would you compare it with Pillow Fist? Better than Pillow Fist?
In my opinion, yes. But
You like that more than Pillow Fist?
I'd have to do a taste
Okay.
test.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can do that.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Right.
We just one more excuse to drink more beer, to drink more hazy IPAs. Gosh,
Right.
That sounds
Shocks. Jeez. Yeah.
So, all right, Caleb,
Yeah.
you talked about the there are some small brews out there in Green Bay. So,
Mhm.
what is the beer scene out there? I haven't been out in Green Bay in years, and I don't know. So, how many breweries do you think there are right now in Green Bay?
Oh man. Yeah. The microbreweries out here, just in Green Bay alone, like, so not even taking even the regional area, there's got to be like 10, 12. I don't know, more.
And
I
how
honestly
new are
don't
they?
know.
How new are they?
They're popping up all the time. And so, yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a very vibrant and exciting kind of, Wisconsinites. We love our Packers. We love our Brewers, Milwaukee Brewers, and we love our beer. And so it was going on great. I think we'll see how many make it through this and are still around. I think a lot of them are going to do okay, but it's going to be a tough haul for them. So I'm praying for them, hoping they do all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get to talk to them and what is the current mood with them?
So I've done work with another brewery out here called Hinterland, and then they kind of led me to working with Copper State, and I primarily do graphic design and labels and stuff for Copper State Brewery right now. But I still do some poster design and just some fun projects for Hinterland here and there. So I stay in touch with them. Reached out to both right away as soon as our state got, even an inkling that we might lock down, and just said, hey, how can I help? Like, if there's anything I can do right now, what can I do to just pour myself into you guys? Because I want to help out in some way. Because my job, luckily, my day job, the agency that I work at, we serve some pretty big food manufacturers. So my day job has turned into day and night job kind of thing, So I'm feeling pretty good that way. And I'm one of the lucky ones that I'm not looking at trying to figure out how I'm going to handle unemployment. But when I talk to John and Missy, the owners of Copper State, who I work with on these labels, they're just like, we don't really know what it looks like, what the future looks like. We got to let a ton of our staff go. They made so much money off of their restaurant, and they're in, they created an experience. They created their beer garden. They had all the farmers markets and all that kind of stuff. They were always out and doing stuff, and they really loved to create events and things for people to gather. Gathering was a big part of their brand. And now all of a sudden, here they are, they can't do any of that. Gathering is literally against the law, right? Like, they can't do any of that. So they're trying to figure out what can we do? How do we keep our brand in front of people? How do we keep our product moving? How do we even sell product at this point? So they're brainstorming different ideas. Retail sales for a lot of these breweries is the only thing they have going right now. They're not selling beer to bars. They're not selling growlers out of their location anymore. So if you can't pick it off a shelf at a grocery store, if people aren't picking it up at a grocery store, they're making nothing, So so Missy actually she's been coming up with some really cool ideas. She reached out and tried to bounce a couple ideas off me, and she's kind of like spurring some movements up here in Green Bay, and it's not just about them. It's not just about how does Copper State stay in or how does Hinterland stay in. It's like, how do we as a community just stick together? And that's been actually really exciting. I don't know, I'm sure you guys are seeing it out in Washington.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, like, people are rallying around the small business like they've never done before. And I think that's actually really thrilling and really cool. And I hope that stays the course. Unfortunately, it feels like Walmart and Target are making all the bank right now. And because they're still allowed to be open, but the mom and pop shops just aren't, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. So I'm seeing like my favorite comic shop, Powers Comics, is going to do, of course, my nose starts running like right when we start recording. So if I keep sniffling here, I apologize.
Happens to me all the time.
Well, it's still the middle of winter out there, so it's okay.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It was snowing this morning. That's ridiculous, right? Yeah.
It seems about right.
This is why Ben left. This is why he's where he is.
Just saying.
Yeah. Where was I going? Oh, my favorite comic shop, Powers Comics. They're going to do a Facebook sale, like a Facebook, try to get people to buy things through Facebook, and then they'll do curbside delivery or just deliveries. So people are just, they're necessity is the mother of invention. Everyone's just coming up with really cool ideas, and they don't have time to like perfect it. They don't have time to try to test things for a couple weeks and see if they like it or, whatever. They're just rolling with it and just putting it out, and everyone is really gracious. I think all the consumers seem really gracious about it and are just like, if there's glitches or things don't go well, they don't care. They're just excited to be able to support. I don't know. Are you guys seeing that, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that over the last few weeks. I mean, to a person that we've talked to, it's been, there's the running theme of our happy hours for the last 3 weeks has been there's no right answer, because nobody really knows what to do, but that also means there's no wrong answer. So just do something, right? Just whatever you have to do, think about a new way of running your business and just do it, and then iterate as best you can. So, I'm curious, in Green Bay, did you guys, how long have you been on the shutdown? I mean, did you guys get shut down in mid-March the same as everybody else, or was there a little bit longer of a delay?
I don't remember the exact date. The March 24th sticks in my head. Maybe it was before that, March 18th, something like that. But it was like that middle. I think you guys in Washington were shut down before we were, but not by a lot.
But not by much. Yeah, ours was right around that same time. So can establishments like Copper State Brewing and Hinterland, are they still serving the public? Can people come in and pick up at their restaurants, or are they closed down for business, period? Or are they still open for
carry-out? They're still trying to do some carry out. So that's another thing that Copper State came up with. They're known for their pizzas, right? So they actually came up with these really cool kits of like, come in, buy a kit, and it's got the dough for the crust, and it's got all the toppings that go on it, and it's cool actually activities for the family to just do with the kids or something, like help them out with suppers. So yeah, everyone's coming up with different ideas. Like the restaurants that already had a to-go service, they were obviously miles ahead of everyone else because they were already ready. They had the packaging, and they had the whole system, the whole operations support for how do we do that and how do we create our food and make sure it still tastes good at home. Other restaurants that didn't have that going into this have scrambled to figure out what on their menu can they do to go and how do they do that. So on the restaurant side, on the retail side, like I was talking about, like Powers Comics, they were shut down. They're just completely shut down for a good 2-3 weeks. And I think now our governor has finally he's relaxed a little bit of the regulations and said, okay, you can do some curbside pickup, you can do some delivery stuff, so they've started to come back a little bit with that. And I know I went and cleaned out my box every week. They pick different comics and save them for me or whatever. And I went and picked that up, and I saw a couple other people doing the same thing. So I'm hoping they're going to hang in there, and, just all these favorite spots. So yeah, I think a lot of people are like you said, they're coming up with an idea and then they're iterating right away. They're just iterating every couple days as they test it and see what worked and what didn't. And can we just make enough cash to pay this month's, payroll, whatever payroll they still have, or this month's rent or whatever.
What's been the, how are companies doing with the government assistance? Anecdotally, I mean, we obviously know a lot of small business owners here in Southwest Washington, and we all read the headlines that these public companies and these large companies are getting the small business funds,
right,
particularly the PPP. What's happening in Green Bay? Are you guys experiencing the same thing? Has it been really difficult for small businesses to access that stimulus, or have you seen some of that stimulus actually make it where it's supposed to go?
Um, yes and yes. Yeah. So I do know anecdotally of several companies that were quick on the trigger. You know, they got into the application process as soon as it opened, and they got that reservation number or whatever that account number was that said, okay, you've been approved and you have funds coming. And I know a couple of them this last week that actually had the funds deposited to their accounts. So that's really cool. But I also know I've heard at least 2 others who got that number, that like the promissory note kind of number, like you have an account number or whatever, but where's the money? You know, so
Yeah, you're logged in. We got you. Like, we received your information. Thank you.
Yep. You've done everything right, but
you're standing in the general admission line and you're counting, going, I don't think there's going to be enough seats.
Exactly.
There's going to be enough seats.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping that by January 2022, you get some money. You know, it's so that's scary. That's really scary. And then when I hear the headlines of Harvard and these pharmaceutical companies and these even some companies that are housed in other nations that are getting millions of dollars, and I know little mom and pop shops that could $100,000 would be like a godsend for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think, did you see that Harvard? I think they returned the money.
Oh, they did.
I just saw a headline that said they were ordered to return the money.
Oh,
that's what I heard. Yeah,
I saw the headline. I didn't read the article. But
I didn't. Oh, okay.
We'll
I didn't see all that.
From what I read, they were saying, no, we'll keep the money, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make sure we don't use it for our operations. We'll support the students with it, but you know.
Sure.
Shake Shack returned the money.
What's that?
Shake Shack got money and they returned it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Shake Shack did, huh?
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Like, that's cool. Like that makes me like that company because like that. I just think of, I mean, so my friends, John and Missy, like, they're not millionaires. They're not making like a ton of cash off their small business. Like, these people have poured their whole life into getting this business up and running, and they've taken risks that I have not taken in my own personal life, right? And to see it all just fall apart because of some stupid virus is just heartbreaking. It's just,
and
you see companies like Shake Shack. I mean, they've got, thousands of employees, they've got infrastructure, they've got people who are, I mean, their job is compliance. Their job is to understand the rules and regulations. And the minute those things come down, I mean, and I think they're backed by, they're backed by venture capitalists anyway.
Right,
so,
exactly.
So these people are professional, like, money grabbers, right? That's their job, right? So they see money. Oh, let's go get the money. If it's free money, go get the money. You go get it right now. Don't wait. And people like your friends at Copper State, like, they don't have that experience. They don't have that background. They don't understand the infrastructure. They don't understand the red tape and
right. They don't have a team of 4 accountants and 3 lawyers who can jump on it and just get it done right away, Right.
So,
and I'd like to get into, because we're getting close to the end, but so now is a time for businesses to be creative, especially small businesses. So you're a creative guy.
Yeah.
So what are you telling your businesses? Are you giving them like, hey, it's time to get creative. It's time to, yes, this sucks, but at the end of the day, we still have to venture forward. So what are you telling your businesses?
I love that. Yeah, because we could sit here and spend a half hour just wallowing, right, and whining about how miserable this all is and stuff. And so one idea that, I'm not going to take credit for it. It was Missy Martin's idea that Copper State started doing was toast positive, right? So, okay, we want people, exactly what you're saying, Ben. Like, we don't want people, and this was right away. This was in March, I think they were doing it. They want people celebrating, like, there's still some great stuff going on every day. And I've had some incredible blessings in my life in the last 4 weeks, just spending time with my boys that I never would have had if this hadn't happened, right? Like, I got to see them thrive in school. And so how can we help celebrate some of those things? And so she came up with this social media tag. It's just kind of a campaign. The mayor at Green Bay actually supported it and kind of kicked it off. And there's this idea of, like, whenever you get moved by the idea or by something that's just something good that happened to you in this day or this week, go out, pick up a local brew, not theirs, anyone's, just a local beer that you like, just to support something, one of those small businesses, and make a toast to it, right? Like hashtag toast positive. Like here's to spending a Wednesday night with one old friend and 2 new friends, right? Toast positive.
Absolutely.
That is
Positive
awesome,
that.
dude.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
So she spurred that off, got the mayor behind it, and it's a
Wow, the
Facebook
mayor is
tag.
behind it?
Yeah, he was there for their very first day. It was cool. They're behind the bar. You can go on Facebook and find it if you look them up. They're behind the bar, and they had like this really long pole, like 8 feet long, so they could do their toast from an appropriate social distance, right? It was just,
That is awesome.
yeah, it was really fun. It was very cool. So it's that kind of thing. Like get creative, like come up with, think about what your brand is. Is your brand about, so for Cottage State, their brand is about togetherness, right? And it's about celebrating. So this toast positive just works perfectly. Like toast something positive that's going on in your life. I think there's a lot of people, those who still have their jobs and who have been locked in, plus also got a stimulus check, they're going to have a lot of cash come May or June, whenever we can start spending it again. And they're going to be excited to just get out. And they're also going to want to do good. They're going to want to support some local companies. So start thinking about how you can take advantage of when that opens up and people are actually out there, and there's some who are really suffering and are going to need that money just to pay the basics. But there are some who their jobs are pretty stable and they're doing okay, and they're going to have some extra spending money because they haven't gone to a restaurant for 6 weeks, so their bank account's doing okay. When they want their first date night out again, like how can you make that special? How can you turn that into an event? It's really turn it up into something for some of these restaurants. So start thinking about that. But then in my day job, digital is king right now, because we were just talking about it, like trying to get onto Facebook, trying to log on to Facebook or do a Facebook Live like this is really hard because everyone's doing it. And so have a digital presence. You gotta be out there digitally. You gotta be on social media. You gotta be doing, if you can do Google advertising or any of that kind of stuff, and turn as much of your product digital as possible if you haven't already, because I think, it's 2020. Everyone is selling online, right? But for those last few companies that weren't, I think this is probably hitting them way harder than anyone else expected. So get digital. You gotta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're trying to. I love that toast positive, man. If you haven't seen the video of Kaleb doing it, the reason why I reached out to you is because of that video. So we'll link it.
Yeah,
for sure. But we have our own challenge, right, Canope?
That we do.
What is our challenge?
So the current challenge with Biz Over Beer Challenge is my challenge to these two guys and anyone else who wants to be involved and then challenge their own people. It's shotgunning a beer. And so what we're doing is
like old school shotgun.
Old school shotgun. Punch a hole in it.
Why don't you show us how that goes, Canope? Can you show us?
Yes.
Oh man.
No. Man, look at that. He's an animal. Wow, see how fast he did that? Well done, my friend.
So yeah, what we're doing is we're each going to do a challenge, and we're going to post it online and with the hashtag BizOverBeerChallenge. And the idea is that if you accept the challenge, you have to do it, obviously, and then challenge 2 or 3, or some people have challenged 10 or more as well. But you do that, and then if you choose not to accept it, you go out to a local small business in your community and buy a gift card. Take a video of yourself, post it online with, tag us at Business Over Beer, and then use the hashtag BizOverBeerChallenge, just so we can know who these people are that you're supporting, so that we can also go out and support them too. So
that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, I believe we have another one coming up here on Sunday, correct? I don't know which one of you is doing it, but
we do have another one.
Yeah, I mean, some companies want to toast all the positive things you see in the world, and other people just want to chug beer. So but
I don't think they're that far apart. I feel like they're
he
very
said,
similar. Like,
as long as it's on brand.
this is you just punch a hole in this, right? And then you drink it. Yeah.
Let's see it.
I was gonna say, are you up for the challenge, Caleb? I don't know.
Not at the minute. Nope.
Not right now.
All right. We want to
That's
see it,
awesome.
though.
Yeah.
We would love to see it with a Copper State beer. That would be awesome.
I'll do that. I will do that.
Be awesome.
I don't think I've ever shotgun a beer in my life. So I have to do it when I'm outside, and then I have to have someone who's quick on the camera who can turn it off quick before I like puke.
You won't puke, but you get all like choked up. It's
It'll
like
come out of everything, right?
You're almost out of breath more than you are. Like I didn't get pukey,
Right.
so I've never been a big chugger or shotgunner. So doing it at 40,
You think that
40
your
years old, I was a
nose is
little
running
nervous.
now.
Right, yeah,
Wait.
exactly. Right. Like yeah.
Just keep drinking. Keep drinking like your life depends on it.
Because it does. Yeah.
Because it does. No, I love what you're doing, dude. I really do. What other things, like, just for what you do? You talked a little bit about, after this is all said and done, we always talk about when this does end, and it will eventually end.
Yeah.
What can businesses do? You probably answered this a little bit already, but what can businesses do right now to prepare for that?
Man, that's a great question. Like, it really depends on their situation too, because if they've laid off all their staff, how do you get ready for a surge when it opens? Maybe there won't be a surge. Maybe it'll open so slowly, business will just be forced to trickle in. But I think a lot of businesses are going to be in a little bit of a catch-22. Like, how do I bring my staff back in time to prepare? How do I pay them a payroll for a week or 2 weeks before, we can open, to do that when I haven't made any money for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or however long this ends up going. So I think right now I would be thinking about what's the experience I want to build out for my customers when it comes out, because it's all about the experience. It's all about creating a memory. And so
when you talked about the first, like, the date night thing,
yeah, like how can I make this something different that no one else is going to be doing, and how can I make it into an event, or how can I make everyone that comes through for that first week feel like freedom, like super excited to be finally get let loose again, and back into the space. So each business, that'll be different. Each business will have a different idea of how they can do that. And it'll also depend on resources, if you can afford to throw in extras or make it into some kind of an event kind of thing. But I'd be doing that, and I'd be getting my social platforms and my digital marketing in line and set up and ready to go, so that I'm building out that anticipation, So when you're talking about, like, once it does open up, if we know that May 24th is going to be that date here in Wisconsin, or May 30th, or whatever it ends up being, how do you start building up that anticipation a week, 10 days early, and start kind of like getting people geared up and ready, like the starting line, like when that gun goes off and everyone is able to go back outside again? How do you make sure they come to your place and not the guys down the street? That's going to be the big question, right? That's going to be the big challenge. So
point for you and your business, I would think that, even a step backwards of that is, you got to know your brand in order to know what type of offering or what type of event you would do anyway. What does make sense for your company?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and
like
this is a great time to do some of that analysis if you're not sure, or if you haven't done that level of brand work. Now is a great time to do that, right?
Yeah. Are you looking for work? Because I feel like we could hire you. Yeah. No. Like you're
Well.
dead on. You're,
Sure. I talked to these two jokers about our brand and branding and every single day.
No, you're exactly right. Like if your idea when the apocalypse ends is to come out and just put everything on sale because you think that's how you're going to attract everyone in, that's just not going to be as exciting. Like, yeah, you'll get some customers, but then you're coming out of a dry spell and you're cutting your already thin margin, right? So that doesn't make any sense at all. So how do you use your brand to reinforce that story? So yeah, branding is all about picking those 2, 3, 4 things that a customer needs to know about you that will trigger them to do business with you over someone else, and then building that story around it. I mean, there's a reason the book Story Brand is like one of the top selling branding books out in the nation, right? Because it truly is. People, it's why I write stories. It's why I write novels. Like, people love stories. You got to tell them a story. You got to tell them an experience they're going to have with you.
And to actually look yourself in the mirror and say, my story is probably going to change after this event, and that's okay. But what is my new story that I'm going to tell?
Yeah. During the event and then afterwards, right? Yeah. Because for, like, I'll keep going back to them, for the breweries that are built around community, they're built around rubbing elbows with friends and cheering on sports games and all that kind of stuff. All that's gone away. So what is their new story? What is their new brand right now? Maybe it's about just, when you've been home with the kids all day long, helping them through schooling, and you just need that 10 minutes of relaxing on the front porch when you can watch the sunset for a little bit. Like, we're that story now instead. So yeah, it's just about capturing like those small moments that are working good. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Ben. Like, you've got to pivot and adapt really quick. And yet you can't pivot so far that all of a sudden you were A and now you're B, because then it's just confusing and it gets muddy and lost and so forth. So it still has to be connected to who you were, right?
That's a valid point, man.
Yeah, because who you are and your core values, those things don't change.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Those should never change, right? Or, I mean, they can evolve, but they shouldn't be dramatically changed by a virus.
You're just being fluid throughout your, like, living in your core values. You're surviving within your core values. It's just you're adapting.
Strategy changes, your tactics change, but
everything changes.
Who you are at your core should still generally be who you are at your core.
Exactly. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Awesome,
love it,
man.
So how are you guys holding up? How's life out there changing for you?
Well, we're doing this.
We're doing this.
Podcasting 3 days a week
now. It seems like what you're talking about with the beer community is culture, and we talk about the beer culture out here, and it is exactly what you talked about. Everybody wants to help each other. We're rallying around these small businesses. Isn't it great to know that people are doing this?
As you were talking, I was just thinking the exact same thing. Like,
it's just like, man, it's so great that people are rallying around. And you said it earlier, but I really want, it's like, when you said it, I'm like, you're right, man. Like, I've never seen people rally around small businesses like this ever.
Yeah, it used to be like, well, I can buy that board game on Amazon for $10 less. Now it's like, man, I will give you that $10 because I want this shop open.
Man. And
I use all nerdy references, so that's why I talk about board games and comic shops. But it's everything, right? It's like I think people have realized how important these small downtown shops and these little strip malls where someone has planted their flag and put up a dream kind of thing. Like, we want that around us, and we need that, even if the Amazons and the Walmarts and the Targets they're good, they're fine, but we still need this in our community. And so I love it that people are recognizing that and want to support that. It's really cool.
Well, I think we've largely taken it for granted, and I don't think that
you're right.
That we
You're
really
right,
understood what part these companies and these small businesses play in our communities.
Yep.
Because there's such easy access to goods, online or from the big chain stores. But when you start to think of a world without them, all of a sudden it gets personal.
And you get scared. You're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't want a world with just Walmart and Target and Amazon.
Yeah.
I like Walmart and Target and Amazon, and I use them.
Yep.
I don't want a world with just them. I want the world with the small guys. And when all of a sudden we start to see, holy shit, this is real. Like now understand. Now I understand the part these businesses play in our community. I don't think we fully had an appreciation for that.
Yeah.
Even us. I mean, even me, I love small businesses. I support small businesses. Our whole brand is about supporting small businesses, but it got real fast.
Real fast.
Mm-hmm. It also just gives me, like, I can get pretty cynical, so I can see some negative stuff in a headline and just be like, screw humanity, right? But there will always come every couple of years some terrible tragic event like 9/11 or like COVID-19, where on the flip side of it, you also see this really amazing uplifting support that people just rally together in a way that you didn't think was possible anymore. And they're doing it. And you're just like, wow, maybe people are still kind of good. Like they're still good to each other. It's still all right, you know? So that's been a good side of this for me personally. Like I hate the tragedy. Of course I hate the disease and I hate the death and all that kind of stuff, but I love the rallying. I love what you just described about when people start to recognize, like, wait, some of these small businesses, what would my community be like without them? You know, there would just be a hole there that I don't want to have. So, yeah.
Awesome,
Amen,
man. Well, geez, I mean, we could sit here and drink beer and talk about it all night, but I think we're pushing right up against the clock. If people want to find out more about the work that you do with your agency, or find out more about see some of your graphic design and or your novels, where would you like people to go check you out?
Sure. Well, so first I'll say, like, just don't check me out. Check out like your local places, you know, check out wherever you are. If you're in Seattle or in Washington, or if you're here in Green Bay, like, please do reach out and see what they're doing and see if you can support them, because you might have missed their message. You might have missed their Facebook post, especially if it's an organic post. No one sees them, right? So go look them up. You have to take an active step. Look them up. Look up your favorite clothing store, your favorite chocolate shop, your favorite whatever it is, and see if you can support them first, because that's the most important thing through this. We got to do that for another 5, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it's going to take to get through this and make sure they keep their doors open. So
for sure.
For myself, I have an author business. I write and illustrate books. Those are just at my full name, Kaleb Schad, author.com. So you can learn more about that there, or I'm on Facebook, all those places. But yeah, I didn't come on here. Honestly, I came on here for you guys and for some of my clients and just the community. Like, I just want to be able to talk about them and let's just hang on a little bit longer. Like, we're so close. I feel it. Like, we're going to get through this. We just got to hang on.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, this video will obviously live natively on Facebook, but we'll have it up on our YouTube channel next Wednesday. We'll have the recording of this on all of our podcast channels and our website next Wednesday as well. And we'll have show notes and a blog post that goes along that has links to all of the things that we talked about.
Awesome.
So the links to all the breweries that we talked about, even the ones in Green Bay, we'll make sure we link to all of those.
Yep.
And I just, man, personally, I love the Toast Positive. I mean, we're gonna start using that hashtag. I think it's awesome. We're big believers in positivity in our community, and if there's things that we can do to support that, man,
awesome.
You got friends in us for sure. So
that's
really
cool. Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing me on and doing this, and I'm gonna do my best to shotgun a beer.
So, all right, man.
Awesome. Beer challenge. We want to see it.
It's gonna be ugly. Like, you thought this was bad. Look, you just wait. Yeah.
Look, man, go check out our Facebook page. You can see there's it ain't pretty out there.
I'm an ugly crier. I'm probably gonna start crying.
Oh, that would be awesome. I hope so.
We haven't had that yet.
We haven't had that yet. You'd be the first. That'd be great.
Awesome.
Hey, Canope, if people want to know about Business Over Beer, where do they go?
they go to bizoverbeer.com, bizoverbeer.com. We've got all our social media handles there. We've got content for our podcasts, our happy hours. We even have a new watch section where you can link into all of our episodes on YouTube. And there's some good blogs out there that Kaleb's put together.
Yeah. Oh, and the new watch page that we have on our website is awesome, and you can see all of our videos that we've done.
Yep.
Who we got coming up? We got two upcoming episodes. We got one on Friday, and then we got a very special time on Sunday. Ben, who do we have coming up Friday? And then why are we doing a special happy hour on Sunday?
Well, I'm going to post this. Is there a way to post this while I am on the
Post it where?
on the Facebook Live?
You could
Share
just
your
throw a
screen.
picture up.
Yeah. No. So Friday we have never mind. So Friday we have Life Force Chiropractic coming on. And actually Kaleb,
Yeah.
the two guys that are on, they're from Chilton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're Chilton
All right.
people. They're
All
Chilton natives. And on Sunday, we have a special happy hour. Sunday, 7 o'clock, Facebook Live, Biz Over Beer Happy Hour with Jennifer Hoff of Coin 6 News.
That's right. That is Sunday, April 26th.
Yes. And she is a Minnesotan.
Minnesotan?
Minnesotan.
Doesn't
She's a
seem like it needs
gopher.
to be that
She's a
complex.
gopher. She's a gopher. But yeah, we're gonna have her on, and she's gonna talk about the news industry and how I had a brief conversation with her, and tune in for that for sure. Because I mean, both and Life Force too, but Jennifer has some really good insight on the news part of it. It'll be interesting. Kaleb, bro, thank you, man.
For sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was great seeing you after 20 some years, and your passion clearly comes through, and just keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Yeah, you guys too. It's awesome. I love this spotlight on small businesses and just doing what you can to keep this going. So really, Thank you so much. Really appreciate the time.
Yep.
You got it, man.
And before we go, I'm sorry, Sandra Chamberlain, she got the answer correct of why can't a pirate finish the alphabet? It gets lost at sea.
Oh man!
So Sandy, I will come out there and I will give you your Fort Side gift card.
Congratulations, Sandy. Big winner.
I thought for sure it had something to do with R.
So did I.
Well, Rihanna, our good friend Rihanna, she actually said that. She said, he can only say one letter, R.
Yes,
Great answer,
that would-
Rihanna.
I feel like that's also a good answer.
That
yeah.
is a good one. But C becomes before R.
You're right. Yep. Dang it.
Rihanna, I will
practice
take you
my
out to
alphabet.
Fort Side as soon as I can. I will buy you 2 beers and you can get your $10 worth at Fort Side on me. Book it.
Thanks everybody for
Thanks, guys.
watching. Thank you, Kaleb. We'll see you guys Friday.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Alley Cat by Soul Shifters. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next Business Over Beer Happy Hour.
Yeah, I love IPAs. That's basically all I drink are IPAs, and but I've been drinking this one lately, and I don't know. I don't like nitro beers. I actually kind of hate nitro beers.
Yeah, me too, man.
They're flat. They feel like they're always flat all the time.
Dude!
Yeah, he's one of us.
Oh my goodness!
Right. But this one, I enjoy drinking it. I don't know why. So yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good. But I'll be getting an IPA after this. So.